So how do you know they're not voting? Because you need a photo ID to vote, and mail-in, the signatures have to match. You have to go to the polling place, have your photo ID, although some people don't, and they can verify their identity in other ways. And it's not just, and who has time? Match what for mail-in? Signatures have to match what the election officials have on file. If it doesn't, it's tossed. Then I sent out a couple TikToks that try and disprove voter fraud.
Hey, so this is how quickly things can get kind of confusing. We got this big crowd here. A little while ago, one person was like, oh, there's ballots. They're moving ballots. And we watched all of it. That's where the media parks. These are all the media trucks. This group of people, they're shouting at the reporters and the photographers saying that those are ballots in there.
They don't have the watermarks on their ballots. Right. They're just screwing themselves.
Fraud right now.
We are watching voter fraud.
Look, they got suitcases right here. There they are, folks. There's the ballots.
We're gonna go to the other side and we're gonna show you what's inside of the back of those fans. Your GoPros, your indoor lights.
Yeah, and my LU600 and my tripod.
Your tripod, yeah. So it's camera equipment. Camera equipment.
There is a massive disinformation campaign underway this evening as social media figures, including the Trump family, are posting fake news on their feeds. For example, Eric Trump tweeted this video of suitcases and coolers being rolled into Detroit's voting center at 4 a.m. The items actually belonged to a television photographer working for the local Detroit ABC station. This is just one example. There are countless instances of a caption saying a video is evidence of voter fraud without knowing what's actually happening in the video. In general, if you don't know the name of the person that shot the thing, where it was shot, and what time it was shot, you should assume it's not what the caption claims. Next big update at 6 p.m. See you then.
Okay, so I voted early, and I used my one driver's license with my old address, but I also had another valid driver's license with an older address because I move all the time. Did you guys know I move all the time? Regular transient over here. I said this. I have 2 valid driver's licenses with different addresses, and I could have potentially voted twice, but I didn't want to take the time or risk it. Let alone do it 10 to 100 to 1,000 to 100,000 times. And then Sarah, she comes in with this funny thing. That's funny. Oh, and I also heard Trump stop dyeing his hair because of the president's age after 2 terms. Oh, wait. My brother, Ryan. This is Ryan, guys. He's funny.
It's fraud. It's fraud like none other. It's fraud, like Bigley. Fraud.
And I say, by the way, Trump didn't age a bit because A, 1-term presidency, B, he spent most of his time on Twitter and his golf courses, and C, spray tangerine. But yeah, I guess he stopped dyeing his hair because he won. He's so vain. I don't know if that's true. He's only been out a couple times since the election. And then Zach, big scary old child sniffing man, scare me. Big scary orange man, bad. He sent this picture. This is my nephew Zach. It's not the best picture of him, but he's a nice looking guy, but just not in this particular picture. I think it's on purpose. Then Vince sends this disgusting picture. I guess that's a pair of thong. That's a thong. Or what else? What do you call them these days? It's called a thong, right? You just don't call flip-flops thongs anymore. I am up to date with my slang. Rose doesn't appreciate that picture. She's like, so gross. Vince, they make them in fishnet as well. Suzanne, Putin gets Parkinson's disease at the end of his life and then dies. Biden gets dementia at the end of his life and dies. All that money grubbing and corruption completely for nothing. Very little done to better the world. Well, like I say, oh, Suzanne, I don't know what you're talking about. Their kids appreciate it. Yeah, Putin, yeah, he's a criminal and a creep, just like Trump. Vince sends this. I'm not going to play it because it's stupid. Lauren sends this one. Then Ryan sends this video from the news, which let me play this because I'm not exactly sure what his point is with it.
They're coming here to show that they want those ballots that were sent in legally, and they are considered to be legal by the city, so they're being segregated and put on hold till a court decision can be made on them. They want them to be counted, and you have to remember, George, this is a place that democracy started here in our country. It happened in that building right behind us here in Independence Hall.
And even, I know as you said, we're still waiting for new votes to come in from Allegheny County, but in the last hour or so, we did get some new votes from the Philadelphia suburbs.
I have not
Don't know.
numbers.
Don't know nothing.
I apologize to you. We just got an email here that says that Biden's edge has gone up to about 27,000 right now. But as you said,
Oh, really?
Numbers from Allegheny and Pittsburgh as well. Eva Pilgrim, thanks very much. I want to bring in the Pennsylvania Attorney.
My brother's skeptical, apparently. I don't know what the point is. These people are so stupid. Vince. Civilian gets footage of an attempted attack on the White House last night. Suspicious that CNN was already there, but I don't see any report on their site of this incident. I'm thinking it did not go down the way CNN had hoped. And apparently, the White House was under attack. Ryan. Crazy. Trump probably tried to tweet something but was blocked by Twitter. It sends a much better view and more detail of the civilian recording of the White House here on Facebook. And it's some guy recording on his phone a bunch of police cars, fire trucks, ambulances, caution tape. I don't know what's going on. The guy doesn't know what's going on because he's a civilian. I don't know. And then my brother, he listens to OAN, the One American News Network. That's his news source. And November 7th, Saturday, when Biden was declared the winner, I jump back in on the feed and like, bye, Dawn. And then my brother Kyle, he has a sense of humor too. My family in general has a sense of humor. They're funny. But they're also just a little, I don't know. And Kyle, I think you entered the wrong chat room. Then Hans, this describes the vote counting process quite well. Seems like our democracy is well implemented and some kind of conspiracy to manipulate 20,000 votes in multiple states goes beyond Occam's razor. My family, Occam's razor? What the heck? Huh? Who? Huh? Yeah, I'm sure this is the first, if they even pronounced it right. But if Washington Post or Fox News won't tell us what we want to hear, we can switch to OAN. Yeah, he's being sarcastic. And then Vince, I don't know why he's my oldest brother, and I don't know what's going on with him. I have other text correspondences with him that I might do on another side note, and this is kind of going long. I really don't know how long this is going. The problem is we don't trust them. Is it a conspiracy or is there a bias from the mistrust? I saw 4 news channels that I would refer to for information completely wiped off YouTube in September. I have no clue how YouTube feels that they can censor some of those information channels and not believe that people are not adult enough to listen and decipher for themselves. We don't need big tech babysitter. Fact! I don't know if I even fully trust in Trump as the man, but I do agree more with his administration's policies in implementing the rule of law based on the Constitution. Have you ever looked at someone and heard what they had to say and what they stand for and not fully trust them? It doesn't mean you disregard them as a person, but you just may not cut them a check and believe they're going to do exactly what they say with the money you gave them. Oh, I guess, I don't know what he's talking about. So yeah, YouTube can take your crap down if they don't like it because they're a private company. And if they think what you're saying isn't true, they can censor it because they're not the government. So here's what I say. I come back in. There's a reason the Bible says the kingdom of God belongs to children. Matthew 18:3, Mark 10:14, Luke 18:17. Because kids will believe anything you tell them. But the Bible also says, 1 Corinthians 13:11, look it all up. Which 1 Corinthians is, I spoke as a child, acted as a child, blah, 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 but I became a man, I put away childish things. I don't know if any of them looked it up and did a quick little Bible study. It's a complicated world when one believes there's a devil who has access to your reasoning and mind. Demons can influence your reasoning and mind. There's a Holy Spirit who has access to your reasoning mind. Your head is your reasoning and mind, but you don't dare trust your own head, ideas, mind, or reasoning because you are only human and God works in mysterious ways. Mind blown emoji. The world is so complicated when you have all those things that you have to decipher through. And then Vince, when the country leans more to the right, we both get a chance to say what we're thinking, and I'm thankful for that. When the country starts to lean more and more to the left, then only those that line up with the status quo get to speak. The rest gets censored. And I tell him, you're wrong about that. I'll explain in person. See, he doesn't understand. He doesn't get it that private companies are allowed, like YouTube, Facebook, they're allowed to censor you because they're not the government. It's only the government that can't censor you. Unless you yell, you technically can't yell fire in a crowded room. There are certain things you can't say because it could cause damage and chaos. So yeah, and my brother has the biggest Christian persecution complex. He's been afraid that he's going to end up in a FEMA camp ever since Obama ran in 2008. Oh, guys, you want a Democrat as in charge because they're not going to force a religion on you. They're not going to make you not practice your religion. That's the point. You are allowed to do your religion. What they say is you cannot force your religion on someone else. Okay? Christians, they confuse their religious belief with their political beliefs. How do I want to say this? In their mind, God doesn't want homos getting married, so they think they should not allow homos to get married. That's not the government's problem. If the government wants homos to get married, then the government can let homos get married. If you don't like it, I don't know, too bad. If God doesn't like it, well, let him deal with it. So, I took this little TikTok when I heard Biden won. Here's that.
Wait, I'm in Indiana.
And then I said, with this, I'll leave the chat room, which I stopped for a while. And then Rebecca, my sister, she says, if you're curious about what we're listening to and being taught in church, I think our guest speaker did an awesome explanation on politics. You can skip to minute 18 for his introduction and talk. I watched a little bit of it, and he's saying people can't be good without religion and morals. Technically, he could take out the word religion, and it would still be true. People need morals. Do they get morals from religion? I don't think so. Morals more come from the society you grew up in, the family you're raised with. Did your parents get their morals from religion? If you're going to read the Bible, there are certain things, yes, that are good ideas, but the most of it is just not a good idea. And society, clear minds, clear heads have to come in and be like, you know what, I don't think that's the best way to do human. I don't think that's the best way to do this. Let's adapt, evolve, and grow and change. Hans. Hey, Suze, thanks for taking the time to read that. Yeah, the author definitely has an opinion, but just because they have different beliefs doesn't mean they aren't ethical, lawful, and moral. Information can be true even if we feel it is wrong. Proof and feelings are unrelated. The idea that truth must match our feelings is an example of magical thinking. I've just been personally hurt by this, thinking that I can trust people and info I disagree with and can't trust the mechanism of our democracy. It led me down to years of self-reinforcing paranoia and depression. I'm not trying to change what folks believe. I'm trying to challenge the idea that only our own side can be truthful, lawful, and moral. Yeah, Hans, I remember when he became a Christian. I was always a little surprised by it, because to me he was always super smart and like, oh, but I was surprised, but I was also so relieved because he was so smart. But apparently it's caused him some mental discomfort, and now based on some side texts, I don't think he is a Christian anymore, which is fine by me. Finally, one for the team. And then Lauren comes back in. She questioned Rose's claim that women shouldn't be leaders. And she says, Rose, how could you say you think women shouldn't be leaders? You're being sexist against your own gender when women have fought for decades to be equal to men. Sorry, just catching up on all these texts. Lol. So I guess Lauren is catching up. And then I pretended to be Rose, and this is her response. Rose's response. Women aren't equal to men. God made it that way for a reason. Men are to be the head, just like Christ is the head of the church. Obviously, women aren't, and this is me. Obviously, women are equal to men on a physical level. Even though some women are stronger, taller, better than some men, women can be equal, even superior to men intellectually, emotionally, physically, and much more. It's because people have had a biblical view of women that women have been held back. If a lady can run a household, you better believe she can run anything. I was supposed to have been removed myself from the chat room, but Beck, in that sermon, just removed the word religion, and it's still true. He adds it, and it's so not necessary, and the Facebook video needs context. Oh, I wandered back into the chat room. And Lauren, she thinks it's sad to hear Rose's thoughts. Then this is Rose's actual thoughts. Oh, I think women can be just as smart as men, but I truly believe God made men to be the leader and women to be the helper. Not to say women can't lead in areas, but not over her husband, and let alone an entire country. May sound super sexist in this day and age, but God knew what he was doing when he designed mankind. Men and women aren't made to be completely equal. We were both uniquely designed for certain purposes. It doesn't mean a male's purpose is greater than a female's purpose, or vice versa, just uniquely different to complement each other. Both roles are needed. I think the enemy has planted the lie that because our roles are different, then we are inferior, but that's not the case at all. And the fact that you believe in an enemy really complicates things, Rose. We all need defined roles in order to work well together. We're not called to be doormats either. Two helpers or two leaders working together will typically breed conflict, etc. Does that make sense? Like I said, that's just my opinion. Sarah. Only in the year 2020 would someone be notified as being sexist. Come on, man. That is being sexist, lol. Nick and I work together perfectly because neither of us are the head of the household. We each do different things, but neither of us are the leader. We together are the leaders and make the decisions. Lauren's engaged to Nick. Nick, I think. Yeah, Nick is his name. And then Rose. Besides, women are way too emotional for a job like that. I don't think that's true, says Lauren. That's you feeding off the stereotype of woman, lol. And then I'm like, Sarah's quoting Joe Biden. Come on, man. Rose, the thing is, men, women's strengths, purposes aren't gender specific. And Rose, who has started all the world's wars? I believe it was Esther who played a major role in saving some Jews. And did you know God isn't even mentioned once in the book of Esther? Facts. Oh, Lord. I see the world how it is now. that it is run by men. It's a shithole. It'd be nice to have a switch up and see how things change. And Rose, I'm not going to start a debate. We just have differing opinions, which I was going to say stuff, but I didn't. But I'll say it now. Rose, yes, we all have different opinions, but some opinions aren't based on facts or reality. And Lauren, I think it isn't really a matter of differing opinions when it comes to human equality. No political leader, man or woman, will ever solve all our country's problems. It starts at home. Alright, so I'm going to stop there because this is getting long and I will, yeah. Bye.